Well, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
Canelo exposed by Bivol proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of Canelo exposed by Bivol subscribers. Now, it's getting real spooky in that welterweight division. Make no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Let there be no confusion. Let there be no qualms. Jaron Boots Ennis is the real deal. You know, Jaron Boots Ennis last night, he fought a guy in Cusio Clayton, which, you know, I wasn't expecting Clayton to beat Ennis, but I did make the video earlier in the week that, you know, this could finally be the fight where Ennis gets a little bit of adversity. And of course, that's not what happened. Cusio Clayton got hit with a couple power jabs early in round one. Went into survival mode. He probably threw less than 5 punches the whole fight. And Jaron Boots Ennis hit him with a big ass overhand right on the temple as Clayton was ducking down below. And it was another sensational knockout for the young man from Philadelphia. So with that being said, with that being established, it's time to go fishing. Get your rod out. You know, cast your rod into the water. It's time to go fishing because Jaron Boots Ennis is the IBF mandatory for Errol Spence Jr. And he even went as far as to call him out. Now, this makes things interesting because this means that at some point, Errol Spence is gonna have to fight, you know, someone that people really want him to see. No more Danny Garcia tune-ups. No more your Dennis Ugas, you know, fights that are good, but like people don't really want to see as like a priority type of fight. Now you gotta fight either Terence Crawford, which is the fight that everybody wants to see, and if for some reason the negotiations fall out and you can't make that fight happen, then you gotta go fight this young stud from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, that everybody's raving about, that everybody's talking about, that a lot of people are looking at as the next great welterweight fighter and the next great fighter coming out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You know, I love the situation because, you know, Errol Spence Jr., you know, I give him credit. He's been meeting names. In the performance with Ugas was great and it was sensational, and it was great to see the old Errol Spence come back. But we've been waiting for Errol Spence to be in a mega fight for a long time. And it hasn't happened due to politics and all this stuff. So now, with the way the politics and the division is set up, he either has to fight one of them two, or vacate the belt, move to 54, or retire from boxing. You know, that's where it's at with Errol Spence. And you know, now the tables have turned. Now Spence, all these years later, is the elder statesman, and now he's got the young buck calling him. And I remember so clearly years ago when Keith Thurman and these guys like Kell Brook, they were like the elder statesman, and Spence was kind of like the guy, the young guy, kind of like Boots is calling everybody out. So it's crazy how you see history repeat itself and roles reverse as time goes on in boxing. But this is a fight that, let's say Boots, let's say for whatever reason, right, the Crawford fight doesn't happen, negotiations break down, something just happens where both fighters can't come to an agreement to deliver us the mega fight we want to see. If the fight with Boots and Spence happens next, I think this is if you would ask me, BT, which fight out of the two between Boots, before Boots, who is a more winnable fight, Errol Spence or Terence Crawford? I would easily tell you it's Errol Spence. Errol Spence Jr., great fighter. You know, can't say nothing really bad about him as far as his boxing skills or anything like that. But I just think the style that he has, he's going to be right there for Boots to hit. I think with Boots' lateral movement, his quick twitch reflexes, his ability to roll punches on the inside, to counter off rolling punches, I think these things play very well in a fight with Errol Spence as opposed to Crawford. I mean, Crawford, he would still have a chance against Crawford, but Crawford's more of a mover, sharpshooter, counter puncher, you know, very sharp fighter. So he could, you know, I would give him a chance against either one, but I would give him much more of a chance against Errol Spence, just because not only that, I think Errol Spence Jr. is having problems making welterweight, and I don't think he has much boxing left in him. I feel like right now, he's just trying to cement that legacy at 147, make that last bit of money, and get up out of boxing. That's the impression I get with Errol Spence. You know, and look, there's nothing wrong with being a fighter that's just boxing for money, but when you meet another guy who's a young killer, who has everything to gain from beating you, that's where things could be a bit troublesome and a problem for you. So that's why I think Errol would have his hands full with a guy like Boots Ennis. And now we're in a stage now where these guys can't avoid Boots, they can't duck Boots. You know, they can't say he hasn't fought nobody because He's beaten a former champion in Sergey Lipinets. He's now beaten a top contender in Custio Clayton. And before that, he beat a guy who's been a world title challenger and a contender and a veteran in Delorme. So he's beating some guys where now you got to start saying, okay, this guy's making statements on a countless basis. We have to really start taking him more serious as a guy who could fight the upper echelon fighters of the division. You know what I'm saying? On top of that, he's exciting as hell. People love watching him fight. And if you're the guy that's gonna beat this young contender, it's gonna benefit you, because for a guy that's a quote unquote young contender, he sure as hell has a lot of fights. He's got 30 fights or whatever, 29 fights or 30 fights, whatever it is, with a bunch of knockouts. He's got damn near more fights than Crawford and Spence. So my thing is this: Spence, you don't gotta defend the belt against Boots right away, because the fight we want to see is Crawford. That's priority. But like I say, if them negotiations break down at all, one bit, one iota, then this kid is the kid you gotta fight. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't want to hear about I'm the big fish, I'm the dog of the division. I don't want to hear none of that bullshit. It's either fight Crawford or fight Boots. And if we get anything besides that, you're going to be under some heavy criticism, not just from myself, but many people in the boxing world. And look, I know you can say, like, well, who the fuck are you, BT? You're just some guy on YouTube sitting on his couch with a Sinisa Estrada shirt on, with boxing magazine, old boxing magazines in his wall. What does your opinion matter to Errol Spence? It doesn't. It doesn't. Errol Spence is a multi-millionaire without my validation, so he's going to be all right. But what I'm saying is, he's going to be under a lot of scrutiny from the boxing fans and the media. So I just think for him, it shouldn't be that hard. It's pretty straightforward. I have faith that he'll fight either one of them, and I think this is a beautiful time for the welterweight division in boxing, because for so many years we've had fights that we really didn't want to see, that we didn't really care about. And now it's like, with the way everything is set up, the only way Spence is going to fight, the only way Spence or Boots or Crawford won't get a big fight next is if, Spence or, it's just like it's a disaster. An absolute disaster has to happen in the welterweight division for all three of those guys to not fight each other. We have to see at least two of those three guys fight each other sometime before the end of this calendar year. I don't care if it's Spence and Crawford. I don't care if it's Spence and Ennis. I don't even care if it's Crawford versus Ennis. However, we got to get it done in this welterweight division. Let's get it done, and let's give the fans the fights that they want to see. But I'm going to leave it at that. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on True School Sports, the home of boxing. If you made it this far, do me a favor and do yourself a damn favor. Hit that subscribe button, and surely you will not be disappointed. True School Sports bringing you the latest and greatest, the untouchable, boxing content, interviews, news videos, breakdowns, live fight reaction extravaganza. We've got a great community of people here, boxing fans all over the world, from America to the UK to Australia, and on and on and on. So join the empire today. Hit that subscribe button. Take care and God.